Hey, everybody. I'm going to entitle this one the Mystery Gas Tank. So there was a man that was driving a car. He took it for a test drive. This was a Chevy Corsica. This car is not a popular car, but I have seen it in movies. And so this man's driving this Chevy Corsica. He's taking it for a test drive. And he noticed on the side of the road that there was a gas tank. And he's just driving. And he just says that's really unusual for a gas tank to be on the side of the road. So he decides to drive the car for about a good 40 minutes. And he came across another tank. And then he starts scratching his head. He's like, this is unusual. 2 gas tanks on the side of the road. Who would have thought? This is crazy. And he never thought about taking a look at the dashboard to look at the needle to see if it's on empty or full. On his way to the dealership, he started driving back home, and he noticed the light came on his dashboard. It said it was empty, his car. It was almost on E. He goes, oh my gosh, the car's on E. What am I going to do? He then drove 40 miles one way, taking his car on a joy trip. He really loves the car. So he's praying, hoping that he makes it to the dealership, because he doesn't want to have to flag down a tow truck or something, or look for someone to give him, look for a payphone, because this is a long time ago. He didn't feel like looking for a payphone. So what he did, he prayed, said, Lord, please, if you could just put some gas in this tank, spiritual gas, so I can make it to the dealership, I'll be grateful. I can't believe that this happened, but I really, really love this car. So Mr. Man drove the car to the dealership. He made it. He said, thank you, God. He made it. He talked to the dealer. He said, I really want this, he said, I really want this vehicle. This car is really good. I love the way it drives. Took it for a long run, and I want it. This is going to serve good. It's going to serve me real nice. So he worked out the deals with the dealership at the time and bought the vehicle. Chevy Corsica owner. He's happy. It's a used car, but he's happy. He said, but before you sell me this car, you have to make sure you put gas in it. I want a full tank. And he said it was crazy. I passed 2 gas tanks on the side of the road as I was coming on my way back and on a test drive. I passed 2 gas tanks on the side of the road. And then my car was on E. He said, so make sure that, he said, to close this deal, I have to have a full tank of gas. And the man said, sure, no problem. So this man took his car to, after they filled the tank up, he drove it off the lot. He's loving it. He goes for a real nice drive. right in the country. He's loving it, loving life. Plays some music, the radio's playing, beautiful. Man is unusual. He said, I'm just going to drive this car until I can't drive no more. I'm going to drive it all day. I want to make sure that this car is good, because the state has lemon laws where if the car is not good, then he could return it back within 48 hours. So, the dealership gave him an as-is car. So he drove this car far. He drove it far, miles and miles, through the country, through the cities. Took it to 42nd Street, took it to Pennsylvania, all on 110. And then he noticed that the light came on the dashboard again. He said, this brings back memories. I'll just go to the local gas station. I know that this car could get at least 15 miles on that, even though I got the warning light on the car. I don't know this town. I don't know this town at all, but I'm pretty sure there's a gas station. There's got to be at least one gas station somewhere on this road. The sun started going down. Dusk started to settle in. The road is real dark. It's in Pennsylvania. Real dark road. No street lights. He's driving. As he's driving, he realizes that his dashboard doesn't have any lights. In fact, the only light on his dashboard that's glowing is the E light. The man begins to sweat. Trickles start to come down his face. And he was hesitant because he was feeling like, man, do I have to pray for gas again? So he did. Lord help me. I was being silly. Now here I am on a dark road, driving. The only light on the dashboard is the E light. I drove for a long time, no problems. Now here it is. I need gas. Back then there was no GPSs, he didn't have a map. He just figured he was going to make it back home. A man of faith, but a little on the complacent side. Wasn't really, or probably, maybe he was just excited. You could be the judge. So he's driving, and he notices he passed that 13-minute mark, and the car's still on E. He's gone 20 miles. The car is still on E. 30 miles. And he's driving down this long country road, hoping to see a gas station. The man didn't see one gas station at all. He drove for over an hour. Not a gas station in sight. There were these little towns that it looked like tumbleweeds would fly through. He didn't know where he was. He just wanted a gas station. He couldn't find one. He felt like he was in a movie because he didn't understand it. He would go to these towns, ask questions, and the gas stations seemed to be out of service, not working. The people that would tell him this had a little smirk on their face. One guy, when he looked in his eyes looked like they they glared a little bit from the moonlight. So he drove and drove, looking for a gas station, and finally he stopped. He pulled over on the side of the road. He let the car run because he knew if I cut this car off, it may not start again. He let it run. The car's motor ran like an airplane motor. It ran so strong. And then out of nowhere, he said, "God, you are so good. Here it is. I drove all these hours, all of these miles, and this car still is running." He jumped up and down, gave God some praise. So happy he was. He didn't care. But then he heard something in the woods on this dark road. It sounded like a bear. Could have been a wolf. But it was making noise in the bushes. So he gets in his car, closes the door, puts the car in drive, takes right off. The man's happy. He feels like faith is what has his car. He didn't know what to say. He said, I'm going to turn around and just go home. I'm going to stop going in this direction. I'm going to turn around. I know it's going to take a while to get home, but I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go home. And that's exactly what he did. He turned around, turned his car right around on one of those tight country roads, and he just drove home. As he was driving home, he noticed in those towns that he went in, all of these different people waving hi to him. This man waving hi to him. That person waving hi to him. As he was driving through on these dark roads, people are just waving hi. He scratched his head. He didn't stop the car. He wanted to keep going. He wanted to make sure that he was able to get home safely. He knew this was not the time to get out the car and chat. In fact, maybe in these strange towns in Pennsylvania, maybe this is something that they do. Maybe this is a custom thing that they do. They wave hi to people that are driving down the road. He even saw the man that had the glare in his eyes from the moonlight. Even he waved hi. The man was very confused. He said, "Wow, people are really outside today." So he drove and drove. The man drove for he drove for over 2 hours. Finally, he reached home. And when he reached home, when he finally reached home, he said, "I can't believe it. I didn't stop once to get gas. I wonder what's up with this car. I don't even want to put gas in this tank," he said. "I just want to drive. I just want to drive this car. I want to see how much gas it really has, because for me, this car is driving on faith." This car is driving on awesome faith. So he gets in the car, he cuts the car off. In curiosity, he wanted to see if the car cut back on. He cuts the car back on. The car starts right up. Vroom. He hits the tank with his hand just to hear if the tank was hollow or it didn't have gas. The tank sounded like it was full. The man scratched his head. He was very confused. He didn't understand. How could the tank even sound like it's full? This makes no sense. But he's happy. So he said, I'll go to the gas station in the morning. But I got a little tank in the house. I'll put it on there to see if this car, if I can get the light to go off. I'll put a little bit of gas in here from the lawnmower tank. He puts a little gas in the tank. The light stays on. After he puts the gas in the tank, the light stays on. The needle doesn't move. He chuckles. He heads down to the gas station. As he gets to the gas station, he says, "Fill it up, sir." I'm so happy to say it. His face is filled with glee. The man said, "How much? You want 45? No, fill it up. You want 50? No, fill it up." He felt like his patience was getting tested because he knew he said fill it up. The guy said, "You want $60? The man said, "Fill it up, sir, please. Just fill it up." He says, Okay, I fill up. The man fills up his gas tank. He puts the nozzle in. Well, the man at the gas tank says, "Yes, sir." He puts the nozzle inside the car. Presses the trigger. It clicks. He pressed the trigger again. It clicks. He says, "Sir, I don't know what's going on. Your tank is full. It won't fill in there." He says, "It won't fill. Your tank is full." The man says, "That's impossible. It can't be full. That's impossible." He says, "I will try again." As soon as he tried to pour the gas in there, the thing clicked. He said, "That's impossible." He said, "Sir, I don't know. I can't help you." The man goes to another gas station. He figured there was something wrong with the pump. He already sees that the light is on the dashboard. It still says E. He goes to the next place. Same thing. The man said, "There must be gas in your car, sir. There must be gas in your car because this pump won't allow you to put gas in the tank." He said, "This can't be." The man drove the car for an entire week, back and forth to work. Gas station to gas station he would go, trying to put gas in his tank. No gas attendant could put gas in his car. The man is confused. And to this day, to this specific day, February 28th, 2025, he's still driving that same car on a mysterious full tank of gas. But he knew that he couldn't tell the government, because had he told them, they would have confiscated his car. He knew he could not tell the police or scientists. In fact, he didn't want anyone to work on his car. All he knew was he was reaping the benefits of this beautiful machine. And this man never had to pay for gas, pay for car gas for a day in his life. He never had to pay. His car ran without gas. And that concludes the story for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned for more stories. All right, peace.